We are at the Laguna Hills Mall, and we're going to be doing an update video today on what's happened in the last 6 to 8 months here at the mall. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in South Orange County, including the economy, real estate, and specifically real estate here in South Orange County, then you're going to want to go ahead and tap the subscribe button below. And if you happen to like the content today, go ahead and give us a thumbs up like. It really helps out the channel. Hey, it's Grant here. We're in front of In-N-Out Burger, and we're going to get a tour of what's going on at the Laguna Hills Mall. Now, it's kind of busy here. We're in front of the El Toro Road. A lot of traffic noise going on. We're meeting with the mayor. Ah, there she is. Hey, this is Grant Loel. I'm here with Jeanene Heft, the Laguna Hills mayor, and we have a few questions we want to ask her about the development at the Laguna Hills Mall. And we briefly went over the questions, but one of the things we wanted to know is, since my last video, this is an update video, since my last video, there's been some changes. And now the city is offering apartments instead of housing at the development. And I wanted to know how apartments align with the city's vision.
Well, that's an interesting question, Grant. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my
Appreciate
pleasure.
it. We're sitting in the parking lot of the hopefully soon to be sprouting new project here in Laguna Hills. I guess in answer to that question, I would say that the council itself has always been pretty united on wanting some sort of housing opportunity that would, have ownership opportunity as well. And unfortunately, we just weren't able to get that past the developer. It was a tough negotiation process, and we wanted to have maybe one building of condominiums or 100 units or something like that. And when it all came down to it, that was just an area they would not budge. And I'll probably get you a little bit more information that gives you an idea of why we didn't have that leverage with some of these other questions, so you'll understand a little better.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Wanted to know how the city is going to address the traffic ingress and egress out of the mall. Seems to be pretty crowded here, which is good, but...
Well, you've got the OCTA, the Orange County Transportation Authority, that has been, planning for years, El Toro Exchange and, all La Paz and Alicia and all the different intersections, which will definitely influence things. But in terms of actual traffic, it's interesting. The original plan was going to be about a 900,000 square foot mall. They were going to redo, give a big facelift to the old mall and make it bright and shiny, and it was going to be amazing. Well, that was approved in 2016 before I actually was elected to the city council. And what ended up happening was the developer decided to take a strategic pause, and we had kind of a lull for a couple of years. And they came back in 2019 with a very different project, which was mixed use, which we have now. And there was a range of either, I think it was 1,200 to 1,500 apartments.
Okay.
It was up to 465,000 square feet of office space, and up to, I believe it was going to be 300,000 square feet of retail.
Okay.
So it was going to be a combination of those three. And what was interesting about this, and this is where we get into the leverage part, is that because the way that the traffic, or the footprint of the traffic, this is called a trip budget, the trips going back and forth, was less in with this project versus the old project. The developer didn't have to do a new environmental report, and so they were able to let this one pass the way it was. And because of that, supposedly we won't have a lot of traffic, but it remains to be seen. We just don't know. I'm hoping that the interchange is improved, and that will hopefully improve things.
The El Toro
interchange, yep, right there.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, right over here behind us, over our shoulder.
So and the fact that we couldn't make a lot of changes because it had already been approved and they were kind of still working with that approval back in 2016, our leverage was limited.
Okay, I see.
What we could do and what we couldn't.
So there is going to be some condos, or There's not.
At this point, no. But let me tell you something. You know, the story's not over. And one thing that my colleague has said, he's had Don Kasky, he's been in, he's been an architect for years and years and years. And he said that it's not over. It's going to change depending on, you know, what the need is, the demand is, what the economic outlook,
Okay.
you know, is. And so maybe we could see that. I know that there's a development off of Mill Creek, which is close to the DMV
Right.
in northern Laguna Hills, and they're looking to have about, I think, 50 condos or something, which I'm really excited about. My background, I'm a mortgage broker, own my company since 2004, and to be able to have more ownership opportunity in the city of Laguna Hills, I think is really important. Not just apartments.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
So the verdict is still out. There might be some condos available.
Hoping. But everything, like I said, everything remains to be seen. We're hoping to get some, at least beginning sticks in the ground in the next 24 months, and that should be the retail area.
And even if it is just housing or apartments for housing, it contributes to the supply.
It does.
And it helps, you know, keep rents a little bit lower because rents are really getting out of hand.
They are out of hand, absolutely. But I wish we had more ownership opportunity in our city for sure.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. But, you know, keeping rents lower is also important.
It is. It's hard right now. People are still kind of recovering from COVID. You know, that really put us in a tailspin, especially in a state like California, which had a lot more restrictions. And hopefully we're coming back from it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, fantastic. Wow, a lot of information. How has the Laguna Hills project evolved to help the local community and residents of Laguna Hills?
Well, like I mentioned before, it was going to be a 900 to 950,000 square foot, big, huge, new mall. And with the kind of demise of malls all over the country, the developer just said, we're going to take a strategic pause and we're not going to continue along this front. And so they decided to do a mixed use, which has been very popular. You've got the project in Huntington Beach, which is mixed use. They're looking to, newsflash, down at Mission Viejo Mall, they're going to be doing, I think, away with one of the Macy's. That's
really?
going to be housing. It's most likely going to be apartments. That seems to the thing that developers favor because they don't have to deal with statute of limitations on the suing the builder and that type of thing.
Right.
And
wow. That's big news.
Yeah, it is. And I know that there are leases in place till 2028. They kind of protect it. I don't know what could happen after that because it seems like just the malls are unfortunately going away. I grew up with the mall. I love the mall. It was great, but unfortunately it's not today's reality.
Yeah. Well, at least we're getting something here in Laguna Hills.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we are. We're getting a project. It's a mixed-use project, and let me tell you about some of the highlights, some of the positive things about it that I'm kind of excited about. One of them is we're going to have a boutique hotel. I know for a fact now it's going to be some sort of a flag. We have not been told the actual name yet, but it's going to be a very nice hotel, probably around 150 rooms. That's extremely important when it comes to our ability to underwrite this and pay for it because we're going to have more people in the city, up to maybe 4,500 people, depending on how many buildings actually get built. There are 5 buildings that are planned. I actually was more comfortable with 4, and one of my negotiation points was that if the developer ends up building the 5th building, and the developer right now, they're a retail developer, so they will sell the housing part to another developer who's a housing developer, or apartment developer. And if they build that 5th building, that's a $2 million fee to the city.
Oh, nice.
So I love ownership opportunity. I just think there's so many apartments out there. I wish we had more ability to own.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
so that was a speed bump that I put in there, and we're also going to have a state-of-the-art movie theater. I'm hoping like a Cinepolis kind of thing.
Oh yeah, really nice.
Order your glass of wine and your really nice meal. Pick your seat type of thing. That's going to be really good. And then Nordstrom Rack is staying.
Nice.
It's going to move underneath the movie theater.
Okay.
And the movie theater will be on top. There'll be a park, I think about a little over 3 acres. There'll be, I always talk about this, but there'll be a dog park, and they decided, I guess, through a series of mishap stories, little dog park and big dog park, because the big dogs run over the little dogs, and so they want to make sure that the little dogs do not get run over.
That's fine. That's what they have in Irvine.
Yeah, oh, is it? Okay, that makes sense. And so paseos, streams, fountains, that type of thing to make it beautiful. I think like an outdoor amphitheater. And probably about up to 250,000 square feet of retail is what has been negotiated right now. That was another one of my points when I was one of the point people. I was on the ad hoc committee to renegotiate the development agreement, which is what we do. We come together with the developer on certain points that are important, is try to make it a win-win. That was something I tried. It was 210,000 guaranteed up to 250. I tried to push it to 250, and they came back and they said the max we can do was 230. So I accepted that deal point, and that is the minimum they can do. It's, you know what, a lot less than what we have, but I'm hoping with some of the changes we may find more retail. Some of the things we've talked about in the past, and no guarantee on that, but like one was Topgolf, you know, which is, you know, fantastic. Or, you know, just some sort of like a destination location. I want to have quality restaurants. I want this to be a place that people want to come to.
Right.
You know, I mean, Laguna Hills Mall was a place for everybody to
It's a
hang out for
destination.
years and years. You're talking about doing that, yeah. And so we definitely want to make that again.
Fantastic. Now, one of the problems plaguing our society these days is homelessness. And I know that Laguna Hills does some things to help support people experiencing homelessness. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Our city, we're blessed, fortunate, I don't know what you want to say, to not have a big homeless population. I know that like northern areas of the county definitely have a homeless population. I mean, gee, where's the best place to be homeless? Here in Orange County, right next to the beaches and everything. So we've had a real problem with sober living homes too, and I want to touch on that, Grant, as well. And that's something, not so much our city, but Orange County in general. And that's where, you know, you have the operators, and you don't really have to have any training to be an operator. And then you bring these people in, and it's a sober living home, like a halfway house, but there's no medical. And there's been, I think, a lot of abuse with the patients and abuse with the homeowners and just the people living there. And so we're trying to find a way to make sure that we protect against that. And one of the unfortunate consequences of those sober living homes is that the insurance companies basically milk the patient, and then they run out of insurance. And what do? They kick them to the curb. We have a brand new homeless person. A lot of people don't know that. Terry Sforza is a columnist for the Orange County Register, and she's had a really, really good ongoing series called Rehab Riviera. You can probably look it up, and it's really good to find out just the whole history of the sober living homes. But getting back to homelessness, which is something that does come from the sober living homes, our city doesn't have that, I guess, largest population. We do something called a point in time count every 2 years. And you have a group of people that go out and they look and find out, you know, who's homeless from sometime between, I think, 11 to 6 a.m. And they interview them, kind of do an intake, find out what, you know, their situation, what their story is, and they came back. Our last count was 12.
Oh, nice.
So very, very low. Now, having said that, we contract with Mercy House, which is a wonderful nonprofit, and they go out and they try to, you know, get to know the homeless that we have, and you know, sometimes you have people come from other cities, so it ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And so we try to make sure that we're taking care of their needs, and especially what's their story? How did they get here? Can we rehabilitate them? There are a lot of great groups out there. Chrysalis, they help rehabilitate. Working Wardrobes, you know, all these different groups that say, how do we get you back on your feet financially and, you know, back into society?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we donate to the Mercy House
that's
whenever
great.
we get a chance.
That's great.
Well, that's all the best questions that I have. Was there anything that you wanted to add?
Well, like I said, we're really hoping to see something beautiful.
Me too. Do you want to walk around a little bit?
Sure. I struggled. It's interesting because sometimes this happens, and when you have council of 5, there's a reason you have an odd number on the city council, because you want to make sure there's a decision. And if you had an even number, you could be constantly tying. So I found out that about maybe a month and a half before our final vote in March of 2022 that I was that swing vote. I was going to be the deciding vote. And I took this extremely seriously because I could have gone either way. Let me tell you why. We wanted more retail. We wanted housing opportunities.
Right.
We wanted
Got a car coming.
bigger hotel. We wanted some different things that the developer, did not have in their own plans. And so we were trying to negotiate with that. And I have a good relationship with the developer. I don't want to feel like I'm being disparaging. I think, things are looking up and things are, we're coming together as a team. And, I want to make sure we're doing that. And I keep a real close eye on this project because it's near and dear to my heart. But when I was making that decision as to whether I was going to support it or not, because I was either going to tank it or approve it, I had to look at some certain things. One of the things I had to look at, which I thought was crucial, was the state of California and the housing laws that are coming down.
Oh, okay.
They're heavily against cities' ability to govern itself. They take away what we call local control.
Right.
And as a result, cities are just kind of sitting there without the ability to make their own decisions. Yeah. Housing was a huge one. So many different housing bills coming out. Basically, we're going to build here. You can't do a thing about it.
Right.
And so I could probably get into a long history of something called RENAs. Basically, every 8 years, we have to, as cities, we have to designate a certain number of housing units to be built.
Right. We
don't build them, but we zone them. So we, in our city, our last cycle, that number was 2.
Okay.
This time it's 1,985 units.
Wow. In
our city of just over 30,000 people.
Wow.
So it was a daunting task, and we had to repurpose because we're not Irvine or Lake Forest where you just have land out there.
Right.
So it was very difficult. But kind of getting back to the project and everything, I had to decide, did we want to fight the state if we turned it down? Because the state would probably say, no, no, no. And there was another element of this. They put teeth in something that's been around for a long time, and it's called the Housing Accountability Act. And what it does is it gives the state basically the power to say, if a project is 2/3 housing, which this project barely was, you cannot vote against it.
Oh, wow.
You're not allowed to by law. Now, what you can vote against is the development agreement. And I guess you could vote against it if there were economic considerations that could tank you as a city. And that was one of the things I was looking at, because it was going to be very difficult depending on when the housing was built versus when the retail was built and the hotel was built. The hotel needed to be built quickly because we needed to have that income to be able to balance out the fact that we would be now responsible for a lot more people, infrastructure-wise. And so I was making that decision, and the state was a very big part of that. And then another part of that I thought was really important was the fact that we could have fought tooth and nail. Maybe we win in 5 years. Right. What did we win? We won a mall that's falling apart that nothing's happening to. And so the residents of Laguna Hills are getting nothing.
Right.
And so that was a huge consideration as well.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, well, it's not everything I want. I don't necessarily think it's the best thing that we could have done. This is my opinion. I'm one person. But when it comes down to it, it's better than what we have. And ironically, some people that had really been against it, they came to me and they said, you know what, I'm glad you voted yes. We were tired of seeing this blight, and we're looking forward to see something great come out of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, they certainly have a blank slate here. We're at the corner. You can see the mall being built here. It's really
big pile of rubble and just dirt.
Yeah. I like how they kept some of the trees, though. Like
this
big palm tree right here.
Yeah, no, they're going to have some really pretty, walkways, and I think it's going to be beautiful when it's all done. They're going to fill it in with trees and everything. And one of the things I was also protecting, which is just a treasure in our city, and that is Pumpkin City.
Oh, yeah.
So many people, my kids, they went to Valencia or whatever, or La Marina, and they went to Pumpkin City. And we need to protect Pumpkin City because it's an institution here in Laguna Hills.
Yeah, we love Pumpkin City.
And
my daughter loves it there.
Making sure they will be a part of it for many years to come.
Nice. They're selling trees too at Pumpkin City.
They sell trees, they sell pumpkins, they sell everything. Yep.
Fantastic. I think that's all the questions that I have. I really really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk with us. And I appreciate everyone in the audience that's watching, and hope you got value watching this video with Jeanene Heft and myself, Grant Loel, local realtor. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the description, or you could call or text or email me anytime. And I'm going to put Jeanene's contact information, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely. I'm always available for any constituents or any videos, any questions.
That's fantastic. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Jeanene.
Sounds good.
All right.